Quick note, I'm introducing a one-day only Halloween coupon code below. Check that out today for the amazing courses linked below on passive income, generating wealth through stocks, real estate, buying a home, or YouTube. Hey everyone, me Kevin here with the latest on stimulus, lockdowns, and COVID. First, a couple of quick notes. First-time gun buyers are driving record gun sales. This was a headline in the Los Angeles Times today. On top of that, stores like Target in Santa Monica and others across the country are boarding up in anticipation of riots and protests after the election. Quick reminder to get out there and vote. Even if you think your vote does not matter or make a difference in the election, every vote cast gets you more money for your district and more representation in your area. Either way, buckle up for an intense week. On stimulus, Mitch McConnell expects that if Republicans maintain control of the Senate, a COVID relief package will not be discussed until early 2021. Since Congress begins work the first week of January, as its new session begins the first week of January, a new presidency unfortunately does not begin, or a renewed presidency does not begin until January 21st. This unfortunately puts the prospects for a stimulus package under a Mitch McConnell leadership as an early February 2021 event. In other words, we could potentially have to wait an additional 3 full months without stimulus to maybe get stimulus in the 4th month. To combat this fear, Donald Trump suggests that there will be a tremendous stimulus deal after he is reelected. This is raising the prospects for Donald Trump potentially accepting Nancy Pelosi's deal in full after the election. However, it also concerns some because if Donald Trump loses, some are concerned that Trump may not want to hand Nancy Pelosi a victory on top of a potential loss or a contested loss. This makes a lame duck deal very tenuous. Nancy Pelosi, however, suggests that, quote, we have to get a deal done during the lame duck session of Congress. That is the period between the election and the beginning of January. This is echoed by Republicans in the Senate, who believe that after the election, negotiations will be much calmer and finally focused on the people and not on election politics and lobbyism. Steve Mnuchin argues that, after all, Nancy Pelosi is impossible to negotiate, or at least has been impossible to negotiate with prior to the election. Though thus far, we have not yet seen Steve Mnuchin's counteroffer to Nancy Pelosi. So far, Steve Mnuchin has only stated that he has worked on a response and has publicly criticized Nancy Pelosi for failing to compromise, despite Nancy Pelosi saying, well, then give us a response. Nancy Pelosi reiterates that there is a difference in values between Republicans, who are hardlining for a small package, and Nancy Pelosi, who wants a very large package. She says, they have no respect for those who are in need, whether that's care, money, or jobs. Teachers, sanitation, transportation, they all need help. She says that we must insist upon the truth and make policies in ways that are effective, based on science. On lockdowns, the governor of New Jersey states he has not ruled out a statewide lockdown to combat the current rising surge of COVID cases. This is the first U.S. governor to reiterate that we may see lockdowns in the United States again. This is obviously widely unpopular. The United Kingdom is considering a nationwide lockdown for 1 month. By the time you are watching this video, it is possible that Boris Johnson, who has now twice delayed his announcement, may have already made his announcement. The expectation is that the United Kingdom will go into a 1-month lockdown. Keep in mind, what happens in Europe is kind of a signal of what might happen in the United States. Boris Johnson expects that essential businesses and schools will remain open. And despite low COVID transmissions in schools, which has been good, has been shown in New York as well, based on a study on 18,000 schools, very low COVID transmissions in schools. At home, COVID spread has been deemed a huge contributor to cases, especially when children catch COVID first. So even though schools might not transmit COVID as much as people or adults do, sort of in the wild, if you will, when children get COVID, everybody in the house gets COVID. Roughly speaking. Belgium and Greece have joined Germany and France in issuing new lockdowns. Belgium is moving towards a partial lockdown, and Greece is locking down its second largest city. This comes as people are fleeing Paris, France, to escape the lockdowns. Airlines are already seeing a fraction of the airline travel they had last year for Thanksgiving, despite recent positivity in the airline sector. Just 1 million bookings for Thanksgiving have been made versus the 10 million bookings last year at this time. Bookings activity is also falling, of course, due to a rise in COVID cases. This also comes as isolation is now being considered the slow killer of the COVID pandemic, especially in nursing homes. Dr. Fauci recommends take vitamin D if you are inside too much, as you might be deficient, and it's hard to tell if you are deficient. Remember, if you spend too much time inside and you do not get enough sun exposure, you don't get enough vitamin D. Studies show that as many as 35% of us may not have enough vitamin D, and this is bad, especially for bone health. On COVID, we have hit 99,155 daily cases yesterday, with 972 deaths. I personally would not be surprised if we hit 150,000 daily cases in the next 2 weeks, and that would not be very good for the stock market. As of Friday, or individuals' lives after all, we got to consider that as well. It's not just about money. As of Friday, we are also up in the amount of hospitalizations. We are at 46,600 hospitalizations, up from 44,000 last week. 14 states have reported their single worst day records, and 3 states have hit new record deaths. To make matters worse, the first known case of someone getting both the flu and COVID has occurred in the Bay Area of California. The individual appears to have recovered and was working in the healthcare industry, but scientists note that contracting one makes you more susceptible to catching the other, as your immune system is weakened. There are also reports that certain healthcare workers are now being asked to work while sick with COVID, because there are not enough individuals to staff hospitals because too many are getting sick and hospital capacity is rising. Berkeley's School of Public Health states that the outcomes of having both the flu and COVID are still unknown, but they are likely not good. Furthermore, Donald Trump says that doctors get more money if they classify cases or COVID deaths or regular deaths as COVID-related deaths. Doctors, according to the left-leaning New York Times, have disputed this fiercely. That's the update for today on stimulus, COVID, and lockdowns. If you found this helpful, please consider sharing it. Check out the Halloween coupon down below. Stay safe for Halloween. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.